The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and welcome to this Thanksgiving edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts, and to my right is a man who is definitely not playing the Gobbler in this Sunday Survivor Series.
The gobbledygooker, whatever. Yeah, that thing was ridiculous. That thing.
How we doing, Dustin?
Doing all right. How about yourself? Happy Thanksgiving. Let us be among the first to wish you and yours a happy Thanksgiving. That was my horrible Chris Berman impression.
Good. I thought you were going for like the Jerry Jones.
Oh, no, Jerry Jones would be like, Steven, I need you to pass the mashed potatoes. You know, mashed potatoes is one of my favorite dishes. We used to eat it all the time when I was playing football for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Oh, my God.
You know, oh man.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I tried to live stream to Rumble, but unfortunately it's given me difficulty. So we're back on Facebook, but that's okay. We're back on Facebook.
Rumble was not ready to rumble.
The Rumble was not ready to rumble, so I'll put it up on replay later. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. We got to talk about the NFL games. We got a special guest stopping by a little bit later, our friend Cole Johnson. Friend of the show, Cole Johnson, will be here for a skosh to talk NFL, talk about Thanksgiving, our traditions, our favorite memories. We might even do a food tier. We're going to wild card this. We're going to wild card this today. We had an idea, but I think we didn't really decide what we're going to do.
I know. We're just going to shoot off the hip.
Yeah,
here.
We're just going to shoot off the hip and do wild card today. But in the meantime, first, we got to take care of some business. The business end. Give us a follow on social media. That includes Facebook, facebook.com/NoCardsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, the scarcely used TikTok @NoCardsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCardsREQ. And the podcast site, subscribe to the podcast wherever you podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Pandora, and don't forget to get notified. Hit that notification bell on Twitter, still refuse to call it X, and on YouTube. That way you know when the live show goes up or when recordings of the Three Rails podcast, which are one of my co-hosts from the Three Rails podcast, is in the comments. We'll get to him in just a moment. But first, we just want to ask you to please rate and review. A 5-star rating would be very, very helpful. Everything helps the show. Ratings help. Reviews help if you're on a platform where you can review. If you're on Spotify, if you're a Spotify subscriber, please leave a comment. Leave a comment during every episode. You can do that now. They help the show. And like a certain friend of the show is commenting in the comment section right now. You can also engage with the show. We are currently live, and we are going to be back live on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And Dustin, what time is it?
It's chime time, a special edition of Thanksgiving.
It's special
chime time.
Yes, it is especially chime time. And as I alluded to, we have comments in the comment section already from one of my cohorts in the Three Rails Metro Hockey podcast, Daniel Smooth. He's saying, "Hot take: cream spinach is overrated."
I need his trademark Old Spice whistle because I'm gonna say it should not be rated at all. That is not a side that would be making my Thanksgiving table Mr. Smooth.
He also says, see at the game on Sunday, Dustin. He'll be at MetLife. on Sunday, as will you.
Yes, I will be there too. So it'll be interesting because, normally I get to catch up with all the games via Red Zone, but I probably won't see much of what's going on this Sunday. So Ryan's going to have to do some heavy lifting on Tuesday, but I will have extensive coverage of one particular game. And with apologies to my esteemed co-host, Staniel, I'm hoping that Gino throws it all over the yard. I'm hoping it happens. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's starting to emerge. I was listening to another podcast, the Fantasy Focus. His targets over the last 9 games.
Dare you?
Over the last 9 games, he has the exact same amount of targets as DK Metcalf. The transitioning is happening. JSN, he's starting to turn into that player that the Seahawks thought he would be when they drafted him out of Ohio State.
He also says he's skipping a friend's baby shower for this game.
That's the good pick. That's the good pick, Staniel. And I want to let us know in the comments. It is a Thanksgiving holiday after all, food related. What are you tailgating with and or bringing to the game? If you're not, I'm going with my brother-in-law, one of his friends from work, a couple of guys. And we were like, what should we tailgate with? They want to tailgate. And I was like, how about sandwiches? Because I don't have a grill or anything. I can't grill down there. So we're gonna put together some sandwich meats, some cheese, some chips, get some things going. What are you bringing to this game, Mr. Smooth? What are you bringing? And are you bringing the emotional support shark? I'd love to see him there.
Yeah, we need. I told Dustin on Tuesday. I said we need a name for the emotional support shark. So
I'm telling you, John Tenta is the name.
John Tenta.
I tell you,
My goodness,
you got to honor Earthquake when you can do it.
We do. So I'll give you a little story. So the second time I went to Giant Stadium, first time I went was 2003. I took my cousin to see the Jets and the Patriots, and that was the night of the infamous I want to kiss you, Susie Culber.
Oh, man.
I didn't know about it until I got home, until I got back to my aunt and uncle's house and saw it on SportsCenter. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Dude, I should not. I should not, but every once in a while get together with Scott. We regularly, there's some quotes that we regularly use, and one of mine that I directed him because he, like you, is a Jets fan. I always say, I could care less that the team is struggling, because that's what he says right before he says it. She tries to ask him a question, and he's like, I don't care that the team is struggling. It's the way that he said struggling. But from all reports, Joe's got that under control. Yeah. Hats off to you now, Joe. But that is a memeable moment if there ever was one.
It's an all-time clip. For sure. Yeah. But that was the first time I went to Giant Stadium, the old Giant Stadium. The second time I went with my two brothers and one of my brother's neighbors to a game. He was a Cowboys fan. I had no dog in the fight because I'm a Jets fan. So
yeah.
But but with my brother Jim, who's a Giants fan, my brother Jeremy, who's a Bills fan. At the time, the Bills were a toilet team, and now unfortunately they're back to being on top. But
I love the little unfortunately slid right in there.
Because I wanted it to be the Jets, but it's the Bills again. So on the way to Giant Stadium, we actually didn't have an idea of tailgating, so I thought we were going to eat on the way there. But we decided to stop at a Subway and get ourselves some sandwiches and listen to one of the games. I think it was the early game. I think it was a Jets game or the Bills game. Before we got ourselves into Giant Stadium, where we saw many a fight in the stands. I think that was the year. I think that was 2008. I want to say, yeah, it was 2008 because it was the Super Bowl year. It was the year after the Giants had beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they were playing the Cowboys that day. So and there was a fight not only in the field, and the fact that there was a beatdown in the field, and the fact that the Giants absolutely beat down Brad Johnson. Yes, Brad Johnson.
Tampa Bay Bucks, great. Minnesota Vikings, great. Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson was the quarterback that day for your Dallas Cowboys. But we also saw plenty of fights in the upper deck of the of Giant Stadium. That was fun.
Oh man!
And you also got to hear a very what sounded to me like a very drunk WFAN host on the way home, who was definitely getting into the Johnny Walker that day.
And Ryan, do you remember? So Staniel, you may not know this, but Ryan and I went to a game together one of the last times the Jets played the Seahawks, and we had Scott with us. We had our buddy Dave with us as well. Dave probably had the best time at that game because he's a Giants fan. He had no dog in the fight, so he just got to watch a football game.
Yep.
But
a free football game, Mike.
Thank you,
Eli Storch.
Eli Storch. We have so many memories from that. We got Eli Storch, the parking pass. Then we also have the guy that took our picture. Do you remember that guy? The picture. Half of the open for the show is from that game.
Yes.
The guy that took the picture, because we were trying to take selfies, and this guy that looked like he was straight out of central casting for The Sopranos came over. He's like, God, what are you guys doing?
Hey, what are you guys doing here? Hey.
Yeah.
Where are you guys from?
He took the picture. And I remember too, Ryan. Do you remember this? Because we ended up sitting in a section. Obviously, there were a ton of Jets fans.
Yes.
One who was infamously waving a towel, and we could not see the game. And I still have the picture of, I know what jersey she was wearing because I still have the picture on my phone.
I remember what jersey she was wearing too.
But there were a couple Seahawks fans right behind us in the section. So I was talking to them during the game, but none of them. Whereas there was one guy, as we were walking to get ready to find our seats and get into the game, there was one guy, and I think I'm forgetting what jersey he had on. He might have had a Sherman jersey or an Earl Thomas jersey. I can't remember. But he turned to me, and it was obvious that he was blind drunk. But he saw my Bobby Ingram jersey, and he just pointed at me, and he went, "Go Hawks," and like kept staggering the other way. It was crazy.
So fun fact about little Easter egg. So we got not only one but two Easter eggs about the show intro. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and now on Facebook, because I don't know what's going on Rumble. I can't seem to get everything straightened out with Rumble with the stream key. So it'll be on later. But the other photo, the photo of me in the show intro, is from our game. Is from the game we went to in New Jersey.
Oh yeah,
to see my New Jersey Devils and your Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, that game was crazy. That's still one of the craziest live sports games, period, that I've been to.
Yeah,
that was because the Devils scored immediately, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And then the Oilers scored in retaliation immediately. And that was pretty much how the rest of the game would go.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember the goal total, but it was like it was something crazy. Like
I remember.
Oh man,
because this is what I told you. I said as soon as I think it was the Devils. Yeah, you're right. The Devils scored immediately on the power play. Edmonton responded. I think Edmonton scored again, and then the Devils scored. It was 2-2. It's not at 2 at the end of the first period. I said, Dustin, this is gonna be one of those games where it winds up like 6-5. The final score was 6-5.
Oh man, I was gonna guess 7-6. So I wouldn't have been that far off, but that game was crazy.
No, but I mean the fact of the matter that we got to see your Edmonton Oilers. We got to see my New Jersey Devils. That was my first time visiting the Rock. Mm-hmm. And that was still during Uncle Melvin's season where everybody had to wear masks and all that ridiculous stuff. You had to bring your vaccination card and to the arena, even though we didn't really need it to get in.
No, it was weird. Like I had that like app thing. I still have it, but I don't remember having to use that. I just remember that was when I learned that Ticketmaster and all the other apps do the same thing. Even beloved SeatGeek does it. When you go
$20 off your order, $50 or more.
That's right. We just did it for the Adirondack Thunder game a couple of weeks
Yes.
ago.
Yes, we did.
Now, upon entry to that Thunder game, you open your ticket, the brightness on your phone gets jacked up to a level that is like
because it's probably the only way that their remote ticket scanner can scan it. Is if you have it all the way up, you're like, the Ark of the Covenant has been opened.
Yeah. Oh man.
But that was a fun trip. And I'm hoping that we talked about this on the show.
Yeah.
We were talking about games we were hoping to see this year. I was hoping to get to a Thunder game, a Devils game, and a Utica Comets game this year. I tried to do it last year. I only went to see the New Jersey Devils. I only saw them once play in January when Connor Bedard had his jaw broken by Brendan Smith. I was going to go to that game on the 14th, but family took precedent because we're probably going to hopefully meet up somewhere and have McChristmas with the whole McCarthy family. So I may be delaying it a week. So I might be seeing on the 21st the New Jersey Devils and the Pittsburgh Penguins with one Sidney Crosby. So I could be seeing some generational talent, some real generational talent come through the pipes. Like I saw Patrick Roy play in Montreal. I saw Dominic Hasek play in Montreal. I've seen the Beezer, so John Van Beesbrook. I've seen some greats on the ice.
Yeah.
During my lifetime. I've also seen Tom Brady on the field. That Jets game I went to in 2003 for the Patriots. Tom Brady was in full effect at the time. When I went to see the Jets and the Broncos in 2014, I could see Peyton Manning live and in action. And
awesome.
in a way, Michael Vick, but I've also got to see Geno Smith when he was with the Jets at the time. And then in
not his best time, but hey,
not his best time. That was the Rex Ryan years after 2009, after 2010, everything just started to go.
And was that where he got punched or something? He got in a fight with a teammate, and the teammate like broke his jaw or something.
That was 2015 because Geno Smith was supposed to be the starting quarterback that year. And he and a teammate who I guess he got released a couple weeks later during training camp. Actually, he was released because of this.
Oh, okay.
Geno Smith was smack talking to him about something or like a girl or something like that. And this guy who's a linebacker just punched him right in the face, broke his jaw, which is how we got Ryan Fitzpatrick in 2015. And almost got to the playoffs.
Dude, Fitzpatrick, man, that Harvard quarterback, he had some magic in him. But Ryan, your conversation kind of gave me an idea here. And chime in on the comments, anybody that's out there. We know Staniel's here.
Yes,
so
we do.
Feel free to chime in. It's Thanksgiving after all. Sports memories that we're thankful for. Because you just ran through a pretty good list of luminaries and greats of the sports that you got to see on the field. So why don't we keep going with this a little bit if you're cool with it? Sports memories we're thankful for.
Oh, don't forget too. I also got to see some of the 2000s and late 90s Yankees teams too.
Yes,
I got to see them. I got to see that greatness on the field. I got to see one of the greatest games I ever went to. And I'm very thankful for this one. Unfortunately, the Yankees lost this game, but they wound up winning the World Series that year. So I went to, this is the day before Memorial Day 2000 at Yankee Stadium, Yankees Red Sox. Pedro Martinez versus Roger Clemens with an absolute masterclass of pitching performances. Both men just went head to head, pitch for pitch. There were 8 shutout innings. 8.
Wow.
And then Joe Torre took out Roger Clemens after he gave up a hit. And I remember who hit the home run. It was Trot Nixon who hit the home run to break the tie in the top of the 9th inning. I hated Trot Nixon ever since. And the Yankees wound up losing that game. but they
Yeah.
won the World Series, so oh well. So that's one memory I'm thankful for. The other one I'm thankful for, the 1995 Stanley Cup. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It was one of the greatest weekends of my life. That Friday, graduated from high school. 1995, Shenandoah High School. Plainsman forever. Not going to be called a Plainsman anymore.
Nah.
I can go off on that, but I'm not going to. The next day, Saturday, Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
And a
nice.
4-game sweep, and the most unpredictable 4-game sweep of this team, this soon-to-be dynasty team of the Detroit Red Wings. Sweep them in 4 games. Nobody saw it coming. I was elated to see them because my grandparents were up. My grandfather came up the next day, brought me the paper, the newspaper with the Devils
nice.
up on front, saying with Scott Stevens holding up the Stanley Cup. And then Sunday I had my graduation party, and that was the greatest weekend of my life, and I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for that. So that's one of the memories that stuck out in my mind.
Yeah, that's very cool, man.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, the thing that kind of, because as you were, I don't have as many live sports moments to choose from, and Staniel, he's come through. He hit on one that I was going to mention, but I'll start with the 2 live memories that I am thankful for, and both of them are Yankee related. The first one, and at the time, I was not thankful for this. But as I get older, I realize how lucky I was to see what happened. My first Yankee game, my Aunt Barb and Uncle Al took me. Well, actually, I think the one I'm thinking of, my first Yankee game, it was just Aunt Barb and I, and this weird guy that she used to work with. The guy it was one of those like Yankee Trails trips where you get enough people together or whatever. And so we went there. The Yankees lost this game like 13-2. It was wild. They were playing the Mariners in 1999. Ryan, who on the Mariners was at the peak of his powers in 1999?
That would be one. Let me see. He had one of the sweetest swings in baseball ever.
Yes.
Generational talent at the time, pretty much unstoppable. I'm going to say, and the son of a former late major leaguer. I'm going to say Ken Griffey Jr.?
That is correct. So as I get older, I realize how lucky Ken Griffey Jr. hit 2 home runs that day. I think he finished with maybe 54 on the year, if I remember correctly. I could be conflating 1999 with 2001. I can't quite remember, but I know Griffey hit 2 home runs that day. And I was very sad to see the Yankees lose that game 13-2. I felt like I was a jinx, but as I get older, I'm so happy that I got to see someone like Ken Griffey Jr. play live. First of all, he was a lefty, so shout out to the lefties. Everybody's born right-handed, only the gifted overcome it. But he also had, as you alluded to, one of the best swings. That it was so smooth and still so powerful. And I've mentioned this before, but as I get older, my respect for Griffey goes up because he clearly, the way his body broke down and his swing slowed down, his bat speed, he didn't take any of the steroids. In an era where a lot of people were taking steroids, Griffey was just that good. You know, and of course, you never know. But to me, the way that his body broke down and the way that he got injured as he got older, I think it's safe for me to say that in my mind, he never took steroids in an era where a lot of people were doing that. And the second memory that I'm thankful for live is also Yankee related. I got to see Mike Mussina, one of my favorite. I know Mike Mussina was an Oriole, but Mike Mussina, one of my favorite signings from that era. And I just love to watch Mike Mussina pitch. I got to see him in his final season. He did get the win. It was against the Cleveland Indians at the time, Guardians now.
Oh, I have some news for you, by the
Oh.
way. It's not breaking, but
Okay.
related to the Cleveland Indians topic. Guess which name might be brought back to the NFL?
Oh, to the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking the football team in Washington?
We are certainly talking about the football team in Washington. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they might bring it back, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
They're talking about it. So it's for the Command Skins or the Red Manders may just be the that team again. So
Okay.
anyway, continue. Sorry.
No, not a problem at all. That I hadn't heard about this. I had heard rumblings that they were talking about bringing it back, but you can't always. You have to be a skeptic in the age of the internet,
True.
because things are out there.
Well, I mean, Abe Lincoln did say. Speaking of Thanksgiving, Abe Lincoln did say that everything on the internet is true.
But I
go ahead. Sorry, I totally derailed your story.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But the short answer is I got to see Mike Mussina pitch, and he pitched a gem. If I remember, the Yankees won 2-1 that day, and it was just when they gave Robinson Cano that huge extension. That was like mere days after they re-signed him to that deal. And I remember the guy that took me to the game. He had an extra ticket, and he was a Mets fan, and he was like, "Do you want to go to this Yankee game?" And I was like, "Sure." So shout out to Jack wherever you are if you're listening. But he kept saying, he goes, "The Yankees just signed Kano." He kept saying Kano, and I kept trying to gently crack
Kano from Mortal Kombat.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, Kano, yeah, they did just re-sign him." And he's like, "Yeah, they just extended Kano. He looks terrible." I kept trying to gently be like, but those were great seats. I don't know how he got them, but
yeah, with
his
eye patch and his cybernetic hidden eye under that high patch, the way he tears out the hearts of his opponents. Yeah, him.
Yeah. It was funny. But we should venture into the comments because Daniel Smooth's got one that
he does
is definitely memorable to me.
He's got plenty. Oh, he does have a name for his emotional support shark. It's Bruce.
Okay.
Hi, right. Bruce. we don't fish are friends, not food. He also says 2016 because the Seahawks were at MetLife that year. Yeah, we went in 20. That's when we went. We went in 2016. It was our friend. It was Dustin got the tickets. His boss gave them to him, and I had asked him. He said, "Yeah, does your boss have connections with?" See, I think you had mentioned that your boss had.
Well, he was always telling me. He said, "Hey, if you ever want tickets to a game, give me a shout because I might be able to make something happen."
Yeah.
And he did.
And then I said, "Hey, just let him know. Let us know how much we owe him." And he's like, "Nah, I still had the voicemail on my phone."
Oh, nice.
I saw the voicemail when you said, "Yeah, I just want to give you a heads up and let you know my boss said that these tickets are free. Don't worry about the cost. He also covered the parking pass too." I'm like, hallelujah!
Yeah.
More money for beer.
Yeah. And I remember Scott brought those. Remember those Labatt Blue Zubaz cans?
Those with the Bills Zubaz. No
yeah. Scott coming through big. He was like we're like, "Scott, do you have a table?" He's like, "Oh, I'll just buy one." And he did. He bought a table, but I think it was partially because he knew that he and Katie would use it at the house, Right, but
right.
He's like, "Oh, I'll just buy it."
I bought one.
Yeah.
So Daniel Smooth bringing it with the Thanksgiving memory, with the Thanksgiving, what the sports memories he's thankful for. He says Jermaine Kearse 2014 NFC title catch in OT.
Yeah, that's a big one. That Green Bay game, I remember. So I was texting a girl that used to work in our building. She was a Niners fan. I'm a Seahawks fan. Well, she still is a Niners fan. She's alive. She's a Niners fan. So. I was a Seahawks fan. So we used to have friendly wagers on the games every time they'd play each other. And both these teams were at the peak of their powers at this time. And I remember texting her because the Seahawks laid an egg against the Packers. That's what it is for most of that game. And I texted her, "I am sad And she goes, I'm sad for you too, because, we wanted the 49ers and Seahawks to be playing each other with the stakes high. But anyway, her Niners didn't make it that year. But anyway,
Right.
so
I do have a memory queued up for you though.
Oh,
From
yeah.
that NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I do have a memory queued up. So
All
let's
right.
go ahead and let's talk about this memory.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
yeah, this was the game that got them to the
Hang on. Here we go.
Let's send you down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
Joe, thank you so much. Richard, let me ask you the final play. Take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm going to shut it for you real quick. LOB.
All right, and back over to you.
All right, well, we saw.
So yes,
I love Aaron Andrews is just like bewildered. She's like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Who was talking about you?
That's the best. That's a memory I'm thankful for. But this 2014 title game that Staniel mentions, so Marshawn Lynch scores, and then she was like, well, there you go. And I'm like, yeah, but it's too little too late. And then everything else that started to happen. The improbable recovery of the onside kick. And let me tell you, Ryan, they still speak of it to this day. I was with our friend Derek. He had invited me to Smoky Bones across the street from my house to watch that game with a bunch of people that he knew, one of which was a Seahawks fan. And I am ashamed to admit I let loose in that Smoky Bones when things were happening. The echoes of my cheers, they still talk about it to this day in that Smoky Bones across the street from my house. I don't go in there much anymore because I really let it. I mean, I heard somebody that was like, calm down. Derek was laughing. He loved it. He loved it because I couldn't believe it. It was genuine shock, Ryan.
You know what? Do you know why? I think I know why. Because we don't
that?
really see you fired up about your team a whole lot. When you get fired up, you get fired up. I saw some of that a couple of years ago during the wild card game between the 49ers and the Seahawks when the 49ers scored that touchdown to go up like 3 scores. You're like, damn it. You got fired up.
That's why I really, if the Seahawks have a big game, I don't usually invite people over. I don't because I don't want to like fully unleash,
Yeah. All right, so continuing on, Staniel Smooth saying John Tavares double OT game winner versus the Florida Panthers in 2015 to get the Isles' first playoff series in 23 years. Yeah, and then 3 years later, he stabbed you in the front, the back, the side to side, going to Toronto.
Yeah.
And Staniel Smooth, he will tell you he hates Toronto.
I think a lot of the league does. Everybody
outside of Toronto does.
Yeah.
He also says Anthony Beauvillier versus Tampa in Game 6 overtime 2021. Well, he called it the Eastern Conference Final, but I would just say the Stanley Cup semifinal because of that weird year that they had, where they had to stay within. Canada had their own division.
Oh yeah,
that's right. And then in the East, the Mass Mutual East.
Because they wanted to like cut down.
They wanted to cut down travel to mitigate circumstances for Uncle Melvin.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember. Playmaker saying, "Happy Thanksgiving, fellas!
Happy Thanksgiving,
friend of the show. Friend of the show, Playmaker." And he's just thankful for 2021 season for obvious reasons.
Oh well, yeah.
Sick Diggy joining us from Norway on this day. Gobble gobble gobble.
Hey, Sick, how are you? Happy Thanks. Well, you feel free to celebrate Thanksgiving where you are too. Just another excuse to eat some food.
Yeah. He also says, Kano wins, flawless victory, fatality. And we got more comments from Sick in the comments section. He says it's Black Week in Scandinavia, and I'm keeping it cheap.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Oh, and Playmaker also says Aaron Donald ending the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp to end the Bucks in Tampa Bay. And Stanley Smooth's that touchdown pass. It's called the Emerald City Miracle.
And while we're at it, Staniel, I am thankful for Jermaine Kearse. He wasn't the main receiving threat. I would argue Doug Baldwin was the one in those years that whenever we needed a big catch, it always seemed like Angry Doug was there. I love the way Doug Baldwin played the game. But Jermaine Kearse always came up with these big catches. And in the most improbable moments, Wilson liked to go to Kearse back in the day. He looked for him in certain moments. So hats off to you, Jermaine, wherever you are. I hope you're celebrating today.
He also has the Smoky Bones. Yes, there's a franchise in the United States called Smoky Bones.
Yeah,
there's
not a very big one.
Yeah, it's across the street, and there's one location across the street from Dustin's house. It used to be good.
Yes, it used to be, and it was another Uncle Melvin casualty.
Yeah, I think they were kind of hitting the skids before Uncle Melvin because they changed management, and all of a sudden the quality just disappeared.
They used to have some of the best wings, and I know people will kill me for saying it because they're a chain. They're a small one, but they are a chain.
Whatever.
But they're OG. Now, they only gave you 8 or 16, and you're like, that's a ripoff. But then you would see the size of the wings, and you're like, all right, I kind of get it.
I have a story about wings. So last year, I went to see my buddy, friend of the show, Jeff Levac. Went to the Orange Roof. We all know what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you know.
You called it the Owl Sanctuary one time, which made me laugh.
I call it the Owl Sanctuary because we all know what it is. But he's there. He's got another friend of ours who used to work at the radio station I interned at in 2019. Got to know him, so got to see Closer Mariano, who's apparently tearing it up in the amateur ranks for bowling locally. So
wow, cool.
Yeah, so good for him. And a couple of guys from the Albany Firebirds. One of them, one of the assistants was there. So we're just hanging out with the manager who Levac knows pretty well. And I ordered 20 wings just because I got there, I was hungry. My shin had brought me down. She and her friend were going to Colony Center to do some Christmas shopping and whatnot. So I ordered a plate of 20 wings.
Nice.
Just quietly eating away. And I got there, and the coach who's sitting next to me, he says, "Wow, you got a healthy appetite. You're getting to go." I'm like, "I'm gonna get at it." It's like 20 wings. Got chase this beer somehow. So I'm eating the wings. I'm just quietly eating and interjecting every once in a while because when I eat, I eat. Like I'm hammered down.
Yeah,
I got an assignment. I got to finish the assignment.
We put the foot on the gas, both of us,
right.
when we eat.
That's right. So I get done. There's a pile of bones right there next to me. And the guy, the coach who was there looks at me and goes, "You ate all those wings?" I'm like, yeah, man, I was hungry. I mean, if I order 20 wings, I'm going to eat all 20 wings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're putting the hammer down, man. Got to do it.
No doubt about it. And I know for a fact one time, Ryan, actually, we were coming back. I can't remember if we were coming back from the Yankee game that we went to, the Orioles versus the Yankees.
Yankees, where we met those two British chicks.
Yep.
Sorry, gals.
And so we, I think I scared you because I was telling you that I was hungry, and you're like, all right, let's. You're like Smoky Bones right across the street from you. Yep, this was back when they were good. So it's like, let's stop there.
Yep.
I ordered 16 of the wings, and I think you were mystified by how fast I ate them. You said that you're like, I looked over and they were there. And then I looked over again and they were not there. I was like, I told you I was hungry, man.
Look, I should have made a comment back then saying, look, you guys leave it all in the field. When the Firebirds leave it all in the field, I leave nothing on the plate. Okay. But yeah, I remember that day because I went because I was in school at the time. That was the 2019. That was opening weekend. So that was that was that weekend. Yeah. Remember that?
And you went and you brought your really nice camera, got some high quality snaps.
Yep. I got DJ LeMay, whose first RBI as a Yankee and that at bat and that hit that he had. I think it was a sacrifice though.
I think so.
Sick thing he's saying, Dustin, translation, Dustin was more than peckish.
I was.
Yeah.
I had a ravenous appetite that day. I was ready. I was ready to go. And then, do you remember too? Also, for like 2 innings, because didn't that game go to extras?
No, it was very close to the end, though.
Yeah,
the Yankees were rallying to tie the score and potentially win the game. But
so I think I had to go to the
short.
bathroom in like the bottom of the 7th, but I was like,
Yeah,
I got to see how this thing ends. I was like, I can hold out. And then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, please don't go to extras. Please don't go to extras. And then we got up after the Yankees won that game. We got up and I'm just like, Ryan, we got to find a bathroom. Like I was like, I've been, and you're like, why didn't you let me know? I was like, I wanted to see how the game was going to end. I couldn't leave. Couldn't leave the seat.
Couldn't leave the seat. Yeah. And those two gals from Britain were sitting next to us, and it was very, they were very nice. They were very kind. It was like, oh, we're just here for a long weekend in New York City. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Not realizing it's only about a 5-hour flight from New York to London. So
yeah, I did not know. I'm ignorant of such things. You know what? That's one of the things. I have a passport. Got to get over to Europe. Got to get over to Europe someday because you could knock out a whole bunch of places.
Well, you can always join my sister and her friend on their trip to Scotland, to Ireland and Scotland next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they invited me, but I wanted to, it's like, you know what? It's an experience that you two should enjoy for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't have me in the conversation. I mean, usually my sister and I are the ones who take trips together.
Yes.
Because like we're each other's travel pal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know what? No, you should experience this with somebody else this time around. Because you should do it.
Yeah. No, that's very cool.
Yeah, I got a passport too. Mine expires next year, so I got to renew it. But I haven't been to Canada in a while.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I was in Canada was in 2011, I want to say. Yeah, 2011. I was there for went to a Hockey Ministries breakfast in Montreal. That was the All-Star game that weekend. So they always have an All-Star breakfast during the All-Star game. And I wonder if they're doing another one during the Four Nations Cup, because they got one in Boston, we got one in Montreal for the Four Nations Cup, which is going to take place in lieu of the All-Star game this year. And then next year is the Olympics, so they're not going to have a extended break for the Olympics in the NHL. So maybe I'll have to travel up there in February and maybe do just say hi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I haven't been there. I haven't been to Montreal in a while. I miss Montreal. Montreal's a fun city.
Yeah,
not for the reasons you think. Get your minds out of the not you. I'm talking about the audience. Like, get your minds out of the gutter, audience. I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah, there's other things. I mean, the last time I went to Montreal, it was partially for that because it was a bachelor party after all. But you want to know what my favorite part of the trip was? I think I've mentioned it before to you probably, but I don't know anybody in the audience. We went to a really nice steakhouse in Old Montreal, and then we just walked around Old Montreal smoking cigars, and that was my favorite part of that whole trip. So Montreal is a cool city. I want to go check it out again. And my Uncle Al has told me, he's talked about it many, many times, that one of his favorite memories is for his, as part of as a wedding gift, his I can't remember if it was his friend. I think it was his friend got Aunt Barb and him tickets to a Rangers, or it might have been that Aunt Barb got him herself. I'll have to remember. But
it was for a wedding gift. I remember, because I remember the story.
He saw the Rangers play the Canadiens in Montreal, and he says it's one of the greatest games that he's ever been to. So I got to check out a Bell Center hockey game. It's on my list.
Bell Center is definitely one of the best arenas in hockey, for sure. I've been a Bell Center twice. I've been told don't go to Toronto for a hockey game.
Oh man.
I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's to avoid. Maybe it's for certain matches you should avoid, but I can't remember.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, because I've heard that Toronto's a great city. I've never really been.
Yeah. Neither have I. Sick was asking what kind of accent that the two British ladies had. It was definitely London because they were very refined, very dignified.
Mhm.
So if I remember correctly. And Sick also says translation, Ryan loves poutine. Fun fact, I've never had poutine.
You've never had poutine?
Never had poutine. I've had beaver tail, but I've never had poutine.
All right, we might have to remedy this. I
Yeah.
mean, because even when I was in Montreal, we were having poutine left and right. We even had poutine at McDonald's. That's right, folks. The Montreal McDonald's has poutine, man.
I remember them having pizza back in the day. I don't know if they
Yeah. You got to love
Well-
those regional McDonald's menus. Like, have you seen the Japanese McDonald's
I have.
Japan? I want to try some of the stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
Mikey Chen has done multiple Japanese McDonald's around the world experiences. The one I remember correct. I remember that one of my first ones was Thailand. That one stuck out to me really well because they had a lot of different dishes. Sick asking, do you mean posh? I'm like, I wouldn't say posh. I mean, they definitely weren't stuck up or snooty. Like they're very, like you can tell they were working class, but they were very very kind. They were very sweet. Both of them were. So, and Playmaker asks the question. Actually, we'll cover that. We'll cover that in the commercial break because we got to take a quick commercial break as mandated by Belly Up Sports. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the football games, the 3 football games that are on today, and we might get into a little bit of what we're doing for Thanksgiving. So
yeah.
So let's talk about it. So stick around for more No Credentials Required. Stand by and stay tuned. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. That is right, folks. Invader Coffee. Invader Coffee is one of the only coffees that goes in this particular mug and this particular French press. That's the one that Dustin's also drinking. I suspect that you're still drinking the pumpkin pecan.
Yes, the bag is almost empty though, so it's almost time for me to re-up, and it's perfect timing because the holiday blends should be arriving imminently if they're not already there.
Well, I'm checking the website right now, do some real-time research. They're still on short supply, unfortunately, but that's okay. Soon the holiday blends will come out, and actually soon you'll be getting a new bag of pumpkin pecan because of our bet from the Mendoza line backstop challenge. You'll have a fresh new bag of pumpkin pecan. But right now, supply short only because of the supply shortages, but because the coffee crop unfortunately was, it's not good right now, but that's okay. We still love Invader Coffee.
Yeah,
Invader Coffee is some of the best coffee your money can buy. It's fresh. Every bag comes to you fresh roasted. It comes to you in whole bean or ground. I prefer whole bean because I have to ground my own beans, so it makes it fresher. And I believe Tegalong is just about to stop in, or he's going to use his litter box. He's about to use his litter box. But in the meantime,
good thing you didn't shift the camera to him then.
I know. I was getting ready to though. But Invader Coffee, fresh roasted beans, air roasted because it takes out all the acidity from all that nonsense with the acidity. It's not as bitter as other coffee brands that you might see on the shelf in the stores, like Taxwell Mouse, Carducks, Lean Fountain. you know, if you don't know, you know. But you pay a little extra for the shipping, but that's okay. It still comes to your door fresh in a matter of days, not weeks. So get yourself to Invader Coffee. It's in our link in the description on Facebook and on YouTube on the podcast. Use our affiliate link that helps out the show, and use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. You get 15% off your order. save a little bit on shipping, on the shipping cost, but it comes to your door in a matter of days. Hopefully the holiday blends will come out soon. We have Bad Santa, Cookie
Yes.
Crumble, Jolly
Yes.
Java. Bad Santa's my favorite. I can't wait for it to come back out.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cookie Crumble is my favorite, but never gonna hold my nose up at Bad Santa. They're delicious, and I feel like Jolly Java. It doesn't get mentioned enough. It's good. I mean, all of them are good. I have not had a blend from Invader Coffee yet that I have not enjoyed, and that's saying something. Now, there are some that I order less frequently than others because they have a quality that I like to imbibe in once in a while. Like the bacon bourbon one, I enjoyed, but I limited. That was not a coffee that I could have every weekend. I was very selective with the weekends that I had it, but it was still good because the flavor doesn't overwhelm this coffee. When they flavor it right. It still tastes like coffee, and you got to love their original blends. I love the OG blend. I love the Don't Cali My Texas blend. I've had that one. Donut Dealer. I love you, Donut Dealer. I'll order you the first time you're back.
Break in Case of Emergency is one of my favorites too. But yeah, definitely go to the link in the description on the YouTube, Facebook, and podcast side. Use the link in the description. It helps our show. And also use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Get 15% off your order. We've also got other sponsors too, Dustin.
Yes.
The eventual Viking-like rating of the show is brought to you by Screwball VPN. The VPN all the way out of left field. And Old Norse Beard, the ideal brand for a manly beard. Whether your beard is Nordic, Germanic, Celtic, Gaul, we got you covered. Old Norse Beard.
I love a mention of the Gauls on the show. Sid.
Yeah, right.
Nice
The
job.
Frenchies. The old Frenchies. Hey, and Julie from Michigan made it just in time. We're just about to talk about the Lions.
Yes.
Lions game today.
You have impeccable timing, Julie. Happy Thanksgiving.
She's on break, but yes, happy Thanksgiving. We're happy to see you in the comments. So let's talk about these games, these Thanksgiving Day games. We've got 3 on the docket today. The early game is Lions against the Bears. The 4:30 game is the Giants and the Cowboys.
Oof.
Ideal time to take a nap. And the nightcap is Dolphins at Packers. But let's talk about the Detroit Lions at home against the Chicago Bears. We've got 3 streaks going on right now, Dustin.
Okay, yeah.
We've got the Lions on a 9-game heater. We've got the Bears on a 5-game slide.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the Lions are in a 7-game losing streak on Thanksgiving.
Which is shocking to me. Shocking to me because they've been good. They've been getting better and or good in recent years. So it's shocking that they're on a 7-game losing streak in this era in Lions. You would have thought they would have won last year or the year before. I remember, if I remember correctly, it was a competitive game last year.
Yes.
I'm trying to. Were they playing the Vikings last year?
No, they're playing the Packers.
Oh, the Packers. That
was the Jordan Love breakout game.
Yep. Okay. I knew it was a divisional opponent, but I got him wrong here. But yeah, that surprises me. And I remember from last show when Julie was in the comments, she said she was concerned about her Lions. I don't know your thoughts on this game, Ryan, but I am here to assuage your fears. The way that the Lions rebounded in that Texans game, Julie, I think they have the mental toughness and the fortitude not to fall into the trap of losing this game. Now, the Bears are going to be playing. The Bears have looked better the last few games, even though they've been on this 5-game losing streak. Some of those losses were improbable. So the Bears, I think, will keep this competitive. Maybe Roschon gets into the end zone again because they seem to like to use him when they get down there. That's my turkey bet of the day. But I will say, I think Detroit is strong enough to withstand. They're not going to fall into this trap. They're going to be ready to play today. Ryan, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not a trap game for the Lions. I certainly thought last week was going to be because considering they're playing the Colts in Indianapolis, and they were coming off that very that comeback victory in the last minute of the game. But the Lions obviously slapped them around a bit and said and then made them humble. They give them the camel, putting them camel clutch. But I don't know. I mean, something about the Bears. I will say this: give credit to the Bears defense for helping them keep in games.
Yeah,
and Caleb Williams is starting to. I mean, Caleb Williams passed for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns last week, and no turnovers. No turnovers against the Vikings, which is something I wish Aaron Rodgers would have done back in London a few weeks ago. But yeah, that's another topic for another day. I think the Lions could possibly fall into the trap, depending on how the Bears come out in this game. But I think it'll be closer than I think people will think it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking the Lions in this game. I'm kind of on the bandwagon because they were my Super Bowl pick for the NFC representative. Obviously, my AFC representative is not looking good right now, but I had the Lions. I'm a believer in this Lions team. And also, Julie, in the comments, give us the sports memory you're most thankful for, because we talked about that earlier. Since you're here in the comments section, give us your most the sports memory you're thankful most as a Detroit sports fan. But yeah, I'm going to take the Lions in this game. I just think that they just have too much. They have too much.
Yeah.
In terms of their offense and their defense. Yeah. And also the Bears offense. Yeah, they fired their offensive coordinator. They fired Shane Waldron, and there's something still missing on this offense that I can't put my finger on. They got off to a slow start. This was off to a slow start in the first 3 quarters last week, and then they rally back, and they had that fortunate touch in the onside kick that got the ball back for them that had tied the game. But I just think the Lions are just so, it's such a hot team right now, and the Bears are just so they're trying to find ways to win.
Yeah,
but it just seems like they're just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, they're like, so to use your analogy, the Lions are red hot right now. The Bears are like tepid. Like they have moments where like the water almost comes to a boil and then it just cools right off. Right. They can't get it going. And I will say one thing though, all this hate for Caleb Williams has kind of made me start to root for him. Because people were declaring him a bust after 4 games, and I'm like, come on, So I'm just kind of like, I like to see Caleb turn it around a little bit. You have to remember these types of things take time. We use the example of not everybody comes out and is an instant success. We use the example of Jared Goff. We use the example of Sam Darnold this year. We use the example of Geno Smith. Things take time sometimes. So I'm picking the Lions in this game too. Like both of us are, but I think both of us are in agreement. The Bears are going to keep it close. I really believe that. But the Lions, as you said, I think they're too much. Do we know is David Montgomery going in this game? I knew earlier in the week there was some question as to whether he would or not. We might have to do some real-time research.
I'm doing that real-time research right now.
I am also doing it. You will probably beat me, given our history on the show. Injury up games. Is David Montgomery playing today? Let's see.
Let's see what the Detroit Lions injury report looks like. Maybe Julie can tell us, but she's not on break anymore.
Oh, geez. I picked like this site and it's loading all these ads. This is terrible. This is terrible.
David Montgomery's questionable.
Okay, he's questionable. Okay, so that's basically, it's up in the air. We don't know.
Taylor, Amon St. Brown's also questionable. Taylor Decker's out. Carlton Davis is out. So yeah. We'll see what David Montgomery does. I mean, Sonic and Knuckles going to do their thing. Jared Goff's going to do his thing. This is when the time of the year when injuries start to pile up, though. So hopefully they both play. Mon St. Brown plays in this game. Hopefully David Montgomery plays in this game, and one of them wins the big turkey leg at the end.
Yeah, the John Madden turkey leg, man.
John Madden turkey leg. All right. Let's just go to the comments real quick. Julie says, I'm thankful for the Lions winning NFC North last year on Christmas Eve for the first time in 30 years. Yep. There you go.
Man. That's a great one. I'm also thankful for your Lions, Julie, a couple of years ago, beating the Packers at the end of the season so that the Seahawks could get into the playoffs. But then they didn't do much against the 49ers that year, but still thankful for it.
Yeah. Playmaker saying the only reason why I'm tolerating Giants Cowboys with a bunch of vomit emojis is because mom's a Cowboys fan and Thanksgiving's at mom's house.
I'm sorry, Playmaker. I'm sorry you got to go through that. But hey, Drew Lock in for the Giants at quarterback. Drew Lock versus Cooper Rush, the marquee matchup of the day.
Six said the Bears, he said something interesting. The Bears need a huge overhaul in the offseason. Then again, fans can get quite fickle and have no sense of patience. I mean, I think we're going to see a coaching change for sure. If they don't, especially if they don't make the playoffs, because they were in, remember, after week 6, they were in line for a playoff spot. But then it had gotten this 5-game slide where they had the Hail Mary, a couple walk-off field goals, an overtime loss last week. The only game that we really had a mismatch was the Patriots game, which got Shane Waldron fired.
Yeah,
I think they have a good core. They just need good coaching, and Matt Eberflus is not it. He's not it. So,
no, he's not. Coach Flus doesn't have it.
Coach Flus is about to get Flus himself. And yeah, Julie points out, David Montgomery's playing against his old team. Yeah, and I guess he's done pretty well against his old team. So let's talk about the nap game, the post-turkey nap game, and the Giants and the Cowboys. It's Drew Lock. It's Cooper Rush. It's Giants Cowboys.
Yeah, this one, people are going to overdo it. They're going to eat. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one to watch. There's no way around it. But I will say, Drew Lock, having watched him play a little bit because he played in the Pacific Northwest for the last couple of years, he can do well in spots if the line can protect him, and he can make some throws. He got that big win against the Eagles on that Monday Night Football game, which shocked everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be an upgrade over Tommy DeVito. That's for certain. But I mean, Tommy DeVito was just getting plastered last week. So if the line can't protect, it doesn't matter who's back there. If the line can't protect him, it's going to be tough. And for the Giants' sake, I hope that Drew Lock comes out and gives Malik Neighbors the ball, because Malik Neighbors is pissed, everybody. Like he's not happy.
He's not happy. After winning all those games in LSU, he's gotten the professional ranks. He got drafted to a trash fire team, and he is not happy.
Yeah, he get him the ball in the first quarter, Brian Dable. Figure it out, okay? You got to do something. But I give the Giants pass rush to give them the slight edge in this game. And I know I'm surprising people. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. But I feel like the Giants rushing attack with Tyrone Tracy Jr. is better than the Cowboys rushing attack. So I think the Giants have a slightly better chance in this one. Even though I would say the Cowboys have more talent overall, I think the Giants pass rush and their rushing attack could be the difference maker. I'm going Giants in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Giants in this one too, because fun fact, the Dallas Cowboys have this many wins at AT&T Stadium this year. Big fat 0.
Oh, man. Tyson's booty cheeks is the Cowboys record at their own stadium.
Oh my gosh. And I'm going to take a look at their, okay. So this has been all their games at AT&T Stadium this year. Against the Saints, they lose 44-19. Against the Ravens, they kept it close, but they still lost 28-25. Against the Lions, 47-9. Against the Eagles, 34-6. Against the Texans, 34-10. So I gotta figure out the average. So you vamp for a second. I'm gonna figure out the average marginal loss for this for the Cowboys.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go to the comments really quick. Sick Diggy saying, don't you have any ad blockers for your web browser at Eldusto67? I thought I did. I'm using Chrome for the show. I have AdBlock Plus installed on the other browsers on my computer, but it appears that when my Chrome updated, I lost the extension. So I've got to reinstall that after the show. Thank you for the reminder.
The Cowboys have scored 69 points at home this year.
Oh man. What a year. They gotta get that curtain up, Ryan. Then they'll have some wins at AT&T Stadium. I had this stadium built for premium live events. Uncle Al in the comments says, "Happy Thanksgiving, you filthy animals." I would just like to say happy Thanksgiving to you. Your team is going to beat mine today on Thanksgiving. And Jerry Jones out. I can't do it. I try. I think sometimes it drifts in and out. Uncle Al, where are you spending Thanksgiving today? Happy Thanksgiving.
And 6 says 69. There's a George Carlin joke around here somewhere.
Yeah,
I have done the math.
All right.
Go ahead, Dustin. Go ahead.
And also sick. If you, because I don't think we've heard from you. What sports memory are you thankful for? That's been our Thanksgiving Day theme here. We'll get into food and what Thanksgiving means to us a little, like, we'll probably start to close the show out with that. But what Thanksgiving giving, or what sports memory are you thankful for? As I triple over myself.
So the average margin of loss at Gerald World this year for the Cowboys, 37-14.
Ryan, you wait for it. The Cowboys are going to do an amazing. It's going to be a storybook ending. We tried to get Daniel Jones. The Vikings stole them right out from under us. And Cooper Rush is going to lead us to the promised land. And I've also had a talk with Coach Mike McCarthy. I told him we got to start lining Trey Lance up at wide out, see what he can do, see if he can catch this ball, because he sure can't throw it.
So, Jared, this is W something at Dallas Radio. Is that storybook ending going to be Romeo and Juliet?
It just might be, but as far as who's the Capulets and who's the Montagues in this story, I'll let you figure that one out. And if you can't figure it out, I will hire someone else that will. Okay.
Well, in Texas talk, the Capulets and Montagues, that's the Hatfields and McCoys. Your Uncle Al says his favorite Thanksgiving memories are watching Barry Sanders break ankles. Absolutely.
Yeah. As we said last year on that Run Barry Run documentary that we watched and reviewed with Cole Johnson. Yeah. That was for the Lions. The Lions always playing on Thanksgiving. Barry Sanders was the only reason to watch for a lot of those years.
For sure. Yeah, so nothing much to talk about in that game. But then in the nightcap, it's going to be a pretty good matchup, I think. I mean, who saw the resurrection of the Miami Dolphins, first of all? And they're playing the Packers, who are currently 8-3. They're 2 games out in the division of the NFC North. But then you got on the other side, you've got Dolphins, who are playing in cold. They're going to play in a cold weather game again.
Yeah,
but it's an important game for them because a few weeks ago we declared them dead.
We did,
declared them dead, as did pretty much everybody else in the United States who is outside of Miami or not a Dolphins fan, saying, "Yeah, this team is not as good as advertised." And Tua comes back. even though they lost their first game, which I still laugh about because they played they played the Arizona Cardinals at home and got beat by 1. But the fans were giving a standing ovation to Tua when he slid instead of dove head first for a first down. But they were at that point 2-6. Now they've won their last 3 games in a row. So they're in a little bit of a heater right now. But they're playing a very, I wouldn't say very good. They're a good team. A good team in the Packers.
They are a good team. Yeah.
Have it all on offense. And they're playing solid defense, especially the secondary. Boy, the Giants are just kicking themselves, letting Isaiah McKinney go as well. Xavier McKinney, excuse me. But let's talk about this matchup a little bit before we answer Playmaker's question about what we're doing for Thanksgiving. This game is going to be. I think this game is going to be better than advertised. And don't forget, tomorrow we have a game too. We have the Chiefs and the Raiders playing the Black Friday game, the new annual tradition of a Black Friday game. So we won't talk about that game, but maybe we'll review it. Maybe we'll review it on Saturday. But
where is that streaming on Peacock?
I believe it's on Amazon.
Oh, it's on Amazon? Okay, then I can actually watch it. Okay.
Yep, Prime Video, 3 p.m. Las Vegas at Kansas City.
Okay. All right.
Guess what the line is for this game?
Oh, the Black Friday game?
Yeah, guess what the line is for the point spread?
Kansas City plus 17 or Kansas City minus 17.
Close.
Oh.
Minus 13.
Oh man.
So close. So close. But yeah, let's talk about the Dolphins and Packers. I think this game could be another close game. This could be a very competitive matchup, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still probably leaning Packers in this one because you said it right at the top. The Dolphins, until they prove otherwise, have shown that they can't play in the cold. They just struggle with it. They have problems, but their defense has slowly improved over on this stretch, and they are using the heck out of Devon Achane. He has been a big reason why the Dolphins are on this win streak. Also, we know how much better their offense looks with Tua back. You can't deny that. He's played 4 fewer games than Jared Goff, but he's the only quarterback with a higher completion percentage, if I remember correctly. So he's come back and he's shown why he is valuable to that team. And also, they've started in recent games to finally get their dynamic wide receivers going. Jalen Waddle and, of course, the Cheetah. Both of them are finally starting to become cogs in this offense again. But the Packers, despite all the praise I just heaped on Devon Achane, I feel like the Packers have the superior rushing attack with Jacobs back there, Josh Jacobs. I almost said Brandon Jacobs. Talk about a blast from the Giants pass.
Yeah.
For Josh Jacobs back there. And I just have a feeling about this Packers team. I think defensively they are better than the Dolphins are. The Packers defense is steadily improving. And as long as Jordan Love can keep the interceptions to a minimum, I think I'm going to pick the Packers in this one, but I think I'm with you. I think this is going to be a closer game than people realize. I think this Lions-Bears game and this Packers-Dolphins game could be closer, but ultimately I think the Dolphins are going to struggle in the cold in some measure, as they have. That will be the difference. The weather will make a difference. Lambeau Field is a different animal when the temperature starts to drop.
Yeah, it's going to be 26 with snow showers in the forecast tonight in Lambeau. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what Miami's speed on offense will look like in the cold. We saw it last year. They struggled against Kansas City last year. Granted, it was a much lower temperature. It was negative last season.
Yeah,
in the playoffs. That was crazy. But this one's a little bit warmer. So I'm kind of curious to see what the offensive speed of Miami can do in cold weather against a pretty stout Green Bay defense. But they might keep it interesting, I think. But I think I still have Packers in this game. They actually have the better chance of winning. It's only a 3.5 point spread. So but I think the Packers will cover for sure. But it'll be a closer game than I think people think. I think the Dolphins are starting to demonstrate they have some fight in them. And if they can get their running attack done, if they can establish the run early to kind of buffet their passing game, because we all know the Packers they're full of ball hawks, especially with Xavier McKinney being the big difference maker. So I think it's gonna be closer. It's gonna be a close game. But yeah, I have the Packers. I have the Packers too. Before we get out of here and talk about what we're doing for Thanksgiving today, let's go to the comment section real quick. Your Uncle Al saying, "I hope, as a Giants fan, I hope Jerry stays GM forever."
Yeah. You have nothing to worry about, Uncle Al, because I am going to run this team even from the grave. Steven and I have a plan in place where my brain is going to be cryogenically frozen and then implanted into his body. I will be GM of this team in perpetuity. No one is taking the power from me. Jerry forever.
Kevin Wilson from friend of the show, Belly Up Fancy Sports, saying Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Kevin. Jersey G joining us saying Happy Thanksgiving, friends. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Jersey G. We appreciate you stopping by. Kevin also saying I'm not touching a 13-point spread, while
Yeah.
Uncle Al says I'm more interested in the hummus spread.
Oh man, hummus.
Last comment before we close things out. Sickty saying, I'd like to see the ghost of Vince Lombardi in the sideline screaming, "What the hell is going on out there?"
That is a great sound bite. I love that.
Sound. I love that sound bit. All right, so before we get out of here, Dustin, where are you headed off today? Well, considering outside, it's currently snowing outside where I am. Let me double check outside the windows to see if it's still snowing. Hang on.
Yeah, I can see for me it still is.
It's still snowing.
Yeah. Yep. I am going over to my sister's house today. It's going to be my dad and his wife and Tracy and Nick and me, my brother-in-law, and I'm very excited because I'd like to say, Playmaker asked in the comments earlier, what does Thanksgiving mean to us respectively? For me, it means my favorite holiday. As I get older, Thanksgiving has become my favorite holiday, and I'm going to tell you why. The holidays in general, the holiday season, for a lot of people, is about getting together with family and people that you love and spending time together with people that maybe sometimes you don't often get to see them. And usually, Thanksgiving means to me keeping the ties to my mother's side of the family. My mother passed away in 2018. I miss her very much. Usually Thanksgiving is where we get a kind of chance to connect with my mother's side of the family and see a lot of the relatives that we don't see as much anymore. And I'm going to miss it this year. Some things happened. Where it just ended up that nobody on that side of the family could really host. So hoping to get together, maybe 4th of July. One of my uncles usually does a 4th of July party, so I'm hoping I'll see them there. But Thanksgiving means getting together with family and people that you love and spending time and eating food. And it's food and football. And for me, Thanksgiving does not have the stress of Christmas. You got to get the cards in the mail. You got to get gifts. You got to, it can be a lot. It can be a lot, especially, and the holidays can also be a very lonely time for a lot of people. I am thankful for me that it is not, but I love Thanksgiving. And let me add this podcast to the reason why. The Thanksgiving show is one of my favorite shows of the year. I love getting on and doing this. Today, we kind of just improvised on the fly, and that's one of my favorite things that we do when we kind of do it. And I'm thankful for everybody in the comments, everybody that's watching, everybody that supports us each week and engages with us, and all the guests that we've had on. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking the time out. shout out to Playmaker. We wouldn't have gotten into that Michael Jackson talk if it wasn't for you. So thank you for that. And yeah, but Thanksgiving means getting together, eating a lot of food. It doesn't necessarily have to be turkey. I like the traditional Thanksgiving. And with that, I'll pass it to you, Ryan. Where are you going today?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be headed to my my sister-in-law's sister's house. They usually traditionally host Thanksgiving. I'm in the midst of a text thread, so I'm not sure if I like it or not. But apparently, it's still on, as far as we know. So
yeah,
as far as we know, it's still on because the hostess has plans for tomorrow, and it was suggested that we postpone, but she says, nope, I'm sticking the turkey in the oven. Turkey's still going in the oven. So, but we don't, but Shannon and I, we're kind of debating on whether or not to go. But it's still snowing right now, but it's a mix of rain and snow. So, and the temperature's supposed to warm up too. So,
I think
we'll
be all right. I think we'll be all right.
But we're debating. And so we're in Boston Spa, and their house is in, I think it's in Scotia. So it might be a little bit of a trek, but that's okay. We'll see. We'll see. But both our cars have all-wheel drive, so we're okay there. But yeah, I love it. This is one of my favorite holidays too. It's one of my top tier holidays. Actually, the snow outside reminds me a lot of the first Thanksgiving we had when we were in New York back in 1985. It snowed that day too. And it brings me back to when my grandfather was up here. He loved the snow. He loves snow. And the fact that we had snow on Thanksgiving, our first Thanksgiving here, like he absolutely loved it. So the snow reminds me a lot of him. And I love my grandfather. He was one of the hardest working men I've ever known. He worked until he was 87 years old.
Wow. And
yeah. And the only reason why he had to quit is because his company wouldn't pay the insurance anymore. So he worked all the way up to 87, and I don't intend to work all the way up to 87 years old.
No
but
way.
if I did, I would do something I love.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm going back for my craft brewing certification. So hey, that starts in a couple weeks. But yeah, I'm thankful for spending time with family. Hope I get to spend some time with family today. Thankful for the opportunity to host this podcast. Thankful for the opportunity to spend time with friends and family. I have you as my co-host, have the people in the audience saying, just giving us random comments, people who support the show. Thankful for all that. Thankful for all these people. And I'm just, I'm grateful to be able to also live in a world, a country where I have the freedoms to be on the air and say what I want without the consequence. Because a lot of people in the world don't have that freedom, which is very unfortunate. But
yeah,
I'm thankful to live in a country such as ours that we can have the freedoms that we have, and we celebrate this day because of the fact that we have these freedoms. It's a good thing to express those freedoms. Someone who grew up in the church and learning about the meaning of Thanksgiving early and often, and why we celebrate the day. So, it's I'm happy for this day. I'm happy that it's not just a day off from work, but it's a time to reflect and a time to be thankful for the things you have, because you may not have tomorrow. You may not have it.
Yeah. I think well said. And, Playmaker says in the comments, my favorite weekend in football happens too. Favorite holiday for the reason Dustin laid out: family, food, and football.
Yep.
Quick, succinct way to sum it up. But this is, without question, one of my favorite weeks of the entire year, partially because I am off from work for 6 straight days. Because I took a couple of PTO days, but yeah, I mean, this is a week and weekend that I look forward to the entire year. One of the other reasons, my brother used to live up in your neck of the woods, Ryan, and he would do a pre-Thanksgiving prime rib dinner every year, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. He's in North Carolina now, so that doesn't happen anymore. But I miss it. And one of these times I might have to try to make the drive down to North Carolina to do that, see if we can do that. But
I would love to do a Thanksgiving in the Outer Banks one year.
Oh yeah, that would
be a blast. And your brother would be invited too, because not because the prime rib, but just because he's in North Carolina, and it'll be fun. It'll be a blast to have your brother there. And just rent a house for the weekend, spend Thanksgiving on the beach.
yeah. That would
be kind of fun.
Cool.
That'd be really fun. But actually, let's sprinkle in a couple of comments before we get out of here. So your Uncle Al saying, I think the snow may have torpedoed our plans, but even if we postpone things, we still get together, and that's what's important. Absolutely. Kevin says, my dad passed 2 years ago. Spending time with loved ones is a gift. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Six saying, so my grandfather was a shark. Sure, the man had a good sense of humor. He had great sense of humor. Pop had a wonderful sense of humor. Hardworking man, wonderful sense of humor. Big sports fan too. Like I get my love of the New York Yankees from Pop.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he was a wonderful man, and I miss him every day. Like every once in a while he'll show up in my dreams too. So it's very this is a special. Thanksgiving is usually one of the special holidays to me. Sick also adds, for me, November means my parents' wedding anniversary. Although my father passed away last year, I still call home and send the best to my mother. It's good for you, Sick.
You go, Sick. Yeah.
And he also says, I'm grateful to bring the shenanigans and laughter every chance I get. Yeah, we're thankful that you're here. We're thankful that you join us. So we're gonna get out of here because it's almost 11:30 Eastern time. So we're gonna get out of here and make plans, maybe shovel some snow. But before that, just want to remind you, please follow us on social media. Facebook.com/NoCurdsREQ. Twitter, Instagram, Scarcely TikTok @NoCurdsREQ. And YouTube.com/@NoCurdsREQ. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And don't forget to get notified. Hit the notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when we go live or we post a video like the Three Rails Metro Hockey Podcast. Also thankful to chop up some hockey with Mr. Smooth and Brian every Sunday or Monday, and talk some nonsense with them about our favorite sports teams, favorite hockey teams in the Metro New York area. Rate and review. 5-star rating helps on the podcast side. Also, reviews help if you're on a podcast platform where you can review. Leave a review. Also, on Spotify, you can leave a comment. Just leave a comment there. We'd be appreciative. Help the show. And whether you're watching live, like we see in the comment section today, or if you're watching on replay on YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, or Twitter, I'll make sure I have the Rumble recording up later today. Leave a comment. Unless you're a thirsty hoe, don't leave a comment. No, we're broke. A, we're broke. And B, no, we don't want your services, but thank you for inquiring. And also on Instagram, if you're an Instagram, if you like our whatever we put up, but have a link to OnlyFans, no. Again, we're broke and we're not that way. So thank you again to everyone who's joined us or listened to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, to talk about, we'll review the Thursday games, we'll review the Friday game, we'll talk about the rest of week 13 coming up in the NFL. It's crazy how time has flown by, but thanks for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll talk to you again on Saturday.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
There we go.